January 2nd and 3rd. Words create a company's culture. Take control of what you say and how you say it with these tips. As a leader, your words have a genetic impact on your organization. Words create stories, and stories form the basis of all human decision making, particularly in new, unusual environments. Leaders set the narrative tone from the top. Your stories seep into your organization's bloodstream and drive behavior at every level. Simply put, success originated in culture. Culture originated in language. As a leader, language originated in you. That said, here are a few lessons I've learned about language and how you can use it to encourage healthy corporate culture. Use words that normalize failure and enable quick decision making. Some of our most powerful stories revolve around failure. The words success and failure are understood to be opposites, with success being preferable most of the time. One of my company's core values is defy conventions. What this means in practice is we want the team to question the status quo, be nimble, and embrace change. If you're not failing, you're not learning. We want a culture that encourages a test and learn approach, which means that failure and learnings are constantly present. Like all growing companies, our early days were full of mistakes whose lessons paved the way for our future successes. As we've become bigger, we have had to work hard to avoid becoming more risk averse, where decision making and pushing the boundaries slow down. Particularly for innovative, growth oriented companies, it's crucial that perfect not be the enemy of good. It's much more important to foster a culture of quick, informed decision making, one where people are comfortable acting with 80% certainty rather than waiting for 100%. You become a better decision maker by learning from the results of imperfect decisions rather than calling them successes and failures. My team uses the term hits and misses. A miss sounds much less punishing than a failure, especially when we couch it in learning oriented terms. Use words that encourage your team to learn lessons and apply them to what's next. This is particularly important after a miss, when your people turn to you for the story. If your story revolves around negative outcomes, it will have a negative impact on your team. But if your story revolves around lessons you can carry forward, your team will understand that mistakes build successes. Misses help you home in on your target. For example, we recently overbought in a certain product style. We have more inventory than we'd like. In the aftermath, I encouraged us to ask questions like, how do we reposition ourselves? What we have learned? How do we talk about it? And how do we fix it? We made that buying decision with a particular view of the world. Now we'll learn from it and use the lesson to reorient moving forward. After both hits and misses, encourage reflection, lesson learning, and future crafting, encouraging your people to think of results, positive and negative, as part of a continuum, not isolated points on the graph. Use words that encourage out of the box thinking. The poet Robert Kelly said, "We sleep in language if language does not come to wake us with its strangeness." I believe what it meant was that if you use the same old language, you'll get the same old results. New language, on the other hand, wakes us up. It makes us see familiar things in a new light. It prompts us to visualize a future more aligned with our values. If your language grows dull, repetitive, or is otherwise distinguishable from your competitors, language neither your team nor your customers will develop a personal connection with your mission. Fresh, distinct language builds a fresh, distinct culture, one whose members feel confident thinking against the status quo. Of course, different conditions call for different kinds of action, but whatever our circumstances, using the right language helps my team take stock, respond accordingly, and learn valuable lessons. Vocabulary focus revolve around convention, the status quo, nimble, adverse, couch something in as something, home in on something, somebody, aftermath, continuum, more information, genetic, seep into something. This is for today. Thanks.